Hey everyone, so I waited a long time to make this video, but finally one of the projects that I've worked on for 7 months last year in 2024, all of the episodes are now released on Apple TV Plus. It's finally out. It is The Last Frontier, and we have Jason Clarke as one of the main actors of this show. So yeah, this was a long project, one of the longest projects I've ever worked on so far in my career. It was hectic, it was wild, truly it was something. It was pretty big, and it was really mentally and physically draining to work on this project. It was just crazy. So the show The Last Frontier is about a plane with fugitives crashed in Fairbanks, Alaska, and all of the prisoners have escaped the plane and are wandering around the town in Alaska. And one of those prisoners is specifically really dangerous. Well, they're all dangerous, but this one specifically is the most dangerous of them all. This show was supposed to be filmed in November of 2023, but because of the actors and the writers strikes that happened in Hollywood, but mostly in the United States, every production was shut down. So because of that, The Last Frontier started shooting in February. And the thing is, when I got contacted to work on this project, I was promised to work from February until July. And then it was February until April, February until May, February until April again, then February to June, to July, and now August. So in the beginning, it was supposed to only be February until July, but it went into August. And around the end of July and August, I was pretty tired, to be honest. Many people left the project, went on into other contracts that they have previously agreed to before coming on this project. We worked in some of the biggest snowstorms of the year. We also worked in some of the biggest heat waves that we had last year. We shot this during winter, spring, and summer. It was crazy, and it was one of the productions I've traveled the most. But we went to Oka, we went to Harrington, which is nearby Hawkesbury. So we stayed at an hotel in Ontario, which was right next to Quebec. So Hawkesbury is really close to the border of Quebec. So we went to Oka, Harrington, we went to Saint-Agathe. We went to Quebec City, well, not in the old Quebec City, but we went to the Montmorency Forest, I believe. Also, since we were shooting a winter show around April, the snow was melting, so we went up north for more snow, and we had to create snow since we didn't have a lot of it. So we had machines just blowing out snow and trying to make the set look like it's in Alaska and in the winter. So it costs a lot of money because of that. I was working in the second unit. I started as a PA, and I got immediately upgraded to a backup truck PA because we had like 2 big trucks to manage, and there were only 2. So they added me as a backup truck to help them. So we were 1 truck PA, 2 backup truck PAs, and I think we became like 3 backup truck PAs at one point towards the end of the show. But yeah, I wasn't a little PA on this show. I had more responsibility. It was chaotic, but I had fun still. The thing that sucked with the second unit is they kept changing the schedule last minute. Because of that, we had weeks without work. They were like, oh, we're working this day. Oh, the week is canceled because of something, I don't know. And then I wanted to book a contract on another production like For example, the latest Karate Kid movie, which was shot in Montreal. I wanted to go work on this project while I was not in a hiatus, but in the dark about when are we going to work again. And they were like, never mind, we're working this week. Oh, we're not working. Oh, we're working. Oh, this day is now transferred to that day. No, we're going back to the original plan. Scrap the original plan again. Let's shoot this day instead of that day. Just a lot of changes in the scheduling. It was hectic. It was exhausting. We had like sometimes we would have a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks without working because of all the scheduling changes. So this was pretty annoying, to be honest. I'm glad it ended. And I've heard, I don't want to get too much in trouble, I've heard that most of Apple's productions are like this. It's always all over the place. But yeah, that's just what I've heard. I don't want to get into trouble. I want them to come back here and create more job opportunities for us, but they need to change something because this wasn't it. And since we were second unit, we worked a lot on the stunts, which is pretty fun. But since I was a backup truck PA, I mostly stayed in the truck, around the truck. I was never on set. I was never nearby set. And I've heard all of the stories about the set, of how cold it was being there. So I was kind of glad to be in my truck and do my own thing. We filmed the stunts in location, then we shot some of the stunts in studio, which we can tell a lot by the final product. To be honest, I'm really disappointed about most of the stunts that we filmed. We filmed them in the back lot of the studio, and you see what they did in post. We actually like crashed a van, we crashed a car, and after post, it looks like we never crashed it, and it looks like it's all CGI, even though we crashed it for real, which is kind of disappointing. But the first episode was done well. Some parts of the plane crash was, you could tell it's CGI, but the fight scene nearby the plane when it's crashed was done really well. It took us like 2 to 3 days just to film that sequence. But yeah, also filming with a real helicopter. We had an helicopter with the camera following the picture helicopter in the show, so it was crazy. But I have some videos from the stunts that we did, so I'll show them on screen.
Cut. So we have a center field, please. Set hot. So we have a center field.
And like I said, I worked second unit, so you're not really with the actors. Specifically me, I was at the truck all the time. We worked tandem units since time was ticking and snow was melting. We had to film some of the main unit stuff. I saw the actors a little. I didn't talk to any of the actors. I saw Jason Clarke briefly, Haley Bennett also. I remember she was on a stretcher, and for some reason they brought her in the stretcher next to my truck, and I decided to just take a picture and post it on my IG. And I tagged her, and she saw it and she thought it was funny. Thank God. I remember towards the end of production, basically almost an entire new team, since we were supposed to finish in July, we finished in August. My department, we almost had an entire different team, since the previous people agreed to other contracts and projects before this one, and it started in May or June. I remember finishing this production. I was relieved. I knew it was over. I made a lot of money, yes, which is good. I made a lot of money, and still a crazy project to be a part of. And if there's a second season, maybe they should come back here and give us more jobs. That's all I have to say, to be honest, on my experience working on The Last Frontier. It was crazy, hectic, and it was wild. Truly a wild ride. A lot of people worked on their first ever movie set on The Last Frontier, which kudos to them. Having this as your first movie set experience, you've lived through everything in your first contract, which is nuts. So kudos to them, and they know what to do in their next projects coming up in their career. But this was probably the craziest one I've ever worked on so far. I'm gonna end this video right here. Thank you for watching. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel. Follow me on my social medias in the description down below, and you can turn on the bell for notifications when I post. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.